Hello and welcome to Alex on Board Games. Always a pleasure to have you here as I start this new topic, a monthly show called Too Old, Too New, where I go through 4 games that I've played in the previous month. 2 of them games that are brand new to me, not necessarily brand new games, not 2025 releases, just new games to me and why I enjoy playing them. And also 2 games that I might have played a number of times before, and I'm really enjoying, because I sometimes think in this hobby we talk about the cult of the new. I played this new game, and we need to celebrate the games that we play regularly that bring us a lot of joy over and over again, as well as games that we play that are brand new to us. I hope you enjoy it. This is Too Old, Too New. And we are going to start off with a game that is brand new to me. Not a new game, but a game brand new to me in 2014 game, Onitama. Onitama is a chess-like game, but it plays in 5 to 10 minutes. It is a really quick, abstract game, just playing in a few minutes. You have 5 people on your small board. The board is only 5 by 5 squares. It's a very small chessboard. You have 5 people, 4 of them minions, and you're kind of like your king, your main person in the middle. I'm sure they've got their proper names. I cannot remember them. I apologise, but it's an abstract game. I hope you'll forgive me. And there are 2 ways to win the game. You either win the game by getting your main man onto the central square of the opponent's area, or you win by getting rid of their king, getting rid of their main player by landing on him, which is, very chess-like in its way. But the reason I love this game is it simplifies the whole thing into just a few beautiful minutes. In each game, 5 animal cards get laid out. And these animal cards, you have 2 in front of you, 2 in front of your opponent, and 1 in the middle. And you choose the animal card that you're going to use that turn, and that allows you to move in a certain way. It might say, from your position, you can move 1 forwards, or you can move 1 back and 1 to the side. It gives you certain different movements you can make. And you make one of those movements, you then give that card effectively to your opponent to add to their stack. So they choose one of the ones in theirs, and these cards just rotate around the board. So on each turn, you've got 2 different animals, and there are a number of different animals in the pack. So each game you're choosing 5, so every single time you play, there's different movement opportunities available, so it adds a lot of replayability in the game. And simply what you do is you try and maneuver your pieces, and you can see the options of movement that the opponent has, so you can tell whether he can get to your main person or whether he can't. How can you try and get to a place where you on a future card will be able to get to that person? Can you take some of their pieces to kind of like improve your line? All the time using these very simple, really nicely drawn out, laid out cards to help you move forwards and to help you get there. This is Onitama. I know there is an expansion out. I've not played the expansion. I've just played the base game with my son William, and I just really enjoyed it. And the main reason I enjoy it, I like chess, but I'm rubbish at it, and I'm really not someone who wants to sit and play that abstract game for that long. It doesn't interest me enough. I like the idea of it, but it's getting a bit of a renaissance. The kids in school and various people playing it all the time. And I think if you introduce some of these other games that are chess-like, they would really enjoy them. This game, the idea that you can play a kind of like a chess-like abstract game in just 5-10 minutes, and then just play again, and then you can play again, and then you beat me that time, let's go again. You beat me that time, let's go again. I had you that time, let's go again. You could easily play this game 6 times in a row and not feel bored of it as you try and work out better ways to play this game. I was lucky because I picked this up at a charity shop. I went to a charity shop and it was only a few pounds, so I got lucky picking this game up. Really enjoyed playing it. So I would recommend a new game to me. I would recommend Onitama 2014. Shinpei Sato is the designer. If you get a chance to pick this one up and play it as a really great one-on-one game, I would very much recommend it. So that is Onitama. Now I move on to a game that is on the Too Old list, a game that is actually fairly new in the world of board gaming, but a game that I've been playing now for quite a few months and really enjoying. This is Harmonies, a 2024 release by Johan Benvenuto. This is a game that as soon as I played it for the first time, I knew this was going to be a game that I enjoyed. I enjoy this feel of games. I enjoy Cascadia and Acropolis and this kind of game where you're building your your kind of like your area, trying to work out spatially where best to put different colours to gain points, but also how to then put the animals on top. In this game, on each turn, you take 3 tokens. You take 3 tokens. It might be a water, it might be an ore mountain, it might be wood, it might be a building with brick material, it might be grassland, or it might be leaves, which are the tree toppers. You take 3 tiles that are randomly drawn, and you've got 5 options of 3 tiles to take, and you place them on your board. But where you place them on your board will score you different points. You'll score points if you can get 2 yellows next to each other, and every time you do, so you might have 2 yellows here, 2 yellows here, 2 yellows here. That's 15 points, 2 for 5 for each. But if you have all your yellows touching, that's only 5 points. You want separate fields, each with at least 2. You score points for how tall you can make your trees. If you can go brown, brown, green, then that's a really tall tree, 7 points. If you just put green with, just a really low tree, only 1 point. So you can score different points depending on how tall you make your trees. You score mountains in the same way as trees, but they must be next to other mountains because you must have them in a range. You can score buildings by having them surrounded by at least 3 different colours. You can score the river by just having it as long as it can be. The longer you can make your river, the more points you score. And having all these different scoring mechanisms, a lot like Cascadia and a lot like Acropolis, having those different is a really interesting puzzle. And even without the animals on top, I would enjoy that puzzle. Where am I going to place? How can I get these yellows? But as soon as you bring out those animal cards and trying to create good habitats for your animals to live in, you've got a second way of scoring points. And this is where Harmonies really comes to the fore, because suddenly you're saying, am I going to sacrifice some points by not having the perfect area underneath to facilitate having a better points for the animals to come in? A certain animal might need trees to be next to water. A certain animal might need small and large mountains next to each other. A certain animal might need a building next to some fields in a certain formation. And it gives you the kind of like the spatial formation they have to be in. So suddenly you're not just trying to maximize your point scoring from underneath, you're adding on top of that point scoring from trying to create environments for these animals. And if you can get the right combination between those two, then you can really do well in this game. And I think it's just such a smart, simple way of doing this. And you're building upwards as well as outwards. Because obviously rivers and grasslands, they're all on one level, and some of the trees. But other things like the mountains and the taller trees, you're building upwards. But the game ends when someone only has 2 spaces left on their board, which means you can be busy building really tall, amazing things, and suddenly the game is over because someone else has just been over there building low-level stuff. But at the same time, your tall stuff is worth more points than their low-level stuff in various ways. So it might work in your favour, but it might be that you've not managed to get enough environments created because you've been concentrating. So you've got to keep an eye on what everyone else is doing. If you think, man, they're going to finish in 2 turns, I might only have 2 turns left. I've got to change this, I've got to do this. It's just a real constant mind puzzle of what you're doing. And also, you're not always, in fact, rarely do you get the 3 things that you need in your 3 you take. So sometimes you're like, I don't really need this river one, but I do need the brown and I do need the red. I need the wood and I need the brick. So I'm going to take the river and I'm going to start a river over there. It might not score me any or many points, but you've got to try and work out, you're never going to have the perfect arrangement. So can you work out how to almost lose 1 or 2 things to get what you need? And that moment when the person before you takes the one that you wanted, you're like, ah! You know what I mean? I think it happened, I played it last night. And I think 4 or 5 times someone said, I was just about to take that one as they did it. My brother-in-law beat me by 2 points. I'm not angry. Oh, caramba! But Harmonies, I think, is a game that I am going to go back to over and over and over again. It suits me. It suits me really nicely. I think it looks great. I love the little cubes. I love the building up of the different tiles. And I think the gameplay is really solid. I look forward to expansions. I'm sure this is the kind of game that they can bring out expansions, either different things you can lay down or different animals and different mechanisms. So I'm sure it will be expanded. So I will look forward to that because I think this is a game that is one that I'm going to come back to time and time again. And then the next game I played, another new game to me. So this is the second new game to me, was Vikings. I'm part of a a board gaming group that meets on some Sunday evenings, fairly near to me, 20-minute drive. And one of the people there, John, he introduced me Vikings, which I'd never played before, 2007. Again, new to me, but not new to the hobby. It's 18 years old by Michael Kiesling. And I found this game a really lovely puzzle. On your turn, you have to take a worker and part of an island. And you've got to try and line up your islands so they have a kind of like a start, a middle, and a finish to try and have complete islands. So there's sometimes only certain islands that you can take. Otherwise, you're going to have to waste them or put them in places you don't want them. But you've also got to take the worker. And some workers are going to be better than other workers in different places, because the different colours of workers would go on different rows and different levels of this archipelago of islands that you're trying to create. But you might not be able to get the one you want, because as the workers go further around this clock mechanism, they get more and more expensive. So you don't want to be trying to get the expensive ones because you might not be able to afford it. So you take the cheap one, but how can you make that work? Is there a certain one that you definitely want? The fishermen, which are the ones that feel like the ones you want the least because they don't score any immediate points, they score you a lot of points at the end of the game if you can fit certain criteria. And as it happens, on this first time we played it, I won the game because my fisherman caught me up at the end as I scored a lot of points. But it's a really great puzzle of trying to work out where to have your robbers, where to have your workers, where to have your kind of like your money people, how to organise it so they all contribute each turn, which means you're getting the most points you can get. On each round, every other round, certain things score. So on one round, nothing scores and you're just building your area. On the next round, everything scores and you've got to work out where you can place your men on your tableau. This was a very Alex game. As we go through this channel together, you'll find there are certain games that clearly resonate with me in a way. This was a game that I feel you could play with a lot of different people. It's not a big, heavy, complex game. It's a game you can sit down with people that are kind of into board games that would like a game, and they'd be able to pick this one up. On the same night, I also got taught Terra Mystica for the first time. I don't feel ready to be able to talk about that. I need to play that a couple more times, because I think that's a much bigger experience where I need to do a lot more of a thought before I can understand it enough to talk about. But Vikings wasn't that. The Vikings was, wow, this is a simple-ish design with mechanisms that are kind of fun where you're building a puzzle, and I really enjoyed it. So again, I recommend Vikings 2007, Michael Kiesling. On this channel, you'll find that in general, I don't talk about games that I don't enjoy. I'll look down my list and go, you know what, I enjoyed that game. I'd like to tell people about it. And for people that are getting into the board games hobby new, they might not have heard of these 2005, 2006, 2010 releases. So let's shine some light on some of the older games that are also brilliant, as well as the shiny, bright, beautiful new games that are coming out. Vikings 2007, Michael Kiesling, really enjoyed it. And that was my second new game that I wanted to talk about for October. So I will talk about one more game that I have played a lot of. And I played it in October, and this game is Diamant, sometimes called Ink and Gold. It's come out with two different names at different times, but the version I have is Diamant. This is a phenomenal risk game. It's a how far can you go into the cave without the cave making you lose all your gems. Every single turn is, do I take the risk of one more room or do I run away with what I've got? What you've got in this game, you go into 5 caves. And you are each miners trying to get these little gems. But in these caves, there are rooms with gems, but there are also rooms with bad things. You have a battering ram, you have lava, you have a boulder, you have spiders, and you have snakes. If you go into a room with one of those 5, say you go into a room with snakes, it doesn't matter. You don't get any gems, but it doesn't kill you. But if you go into a subsequent room that also has snakes, then you lose all the gems that you've collected in that cave so far. So after each room, everyone puts their hand in with their man in their hand. Go 3, 2, 1, go. And if you drop your man, it means you're running away and you're taking everything that you've got so far. But everyone that stays in, they're staying in with the possibility of getting more and more and more gems, but also the possibility of losing. So at the beginning, you stay in for quite a few rooms. You might not have had anything. You might have just had gems, all these kind of cool stuff. And you're like, yeah, this is great. I'm making loads of money. As soon as it starts, where these gems start, these bad things start coming out, you might have lava and then a boulder, and you're like, oh, only 2 different things can kill me. There's plenty of stuff that's good. Do I stay in? Do I not? And any gems that aren't divisible by the number of players, say there are 5 of you playing and the number 17 comes out, which is one of the biggest ones, then each person has 3, but the spare 2 stay on the card. And if you're the only person that run away, not only do you get the ones that you've got on your own, you also get these extra ones that have been left behind. So people are like, it's worth running away right now if I'm the only one, because I get loads of little extras that have been left behind, and other people might carry on. That might be enough to win me a game or get me a lot of score. It's pure risk and reward. You can tell it like a story. Welcome to cave number 1. Please come in. You have got 4 gems. You have got a battering ram. And people are going, oh, you get into it. And everyone's going, oh, shall I stay in? Shall I not? Once you're a bit behind or you think you're losing, you stay in for longer and it makes it more of a risk. Do you slowly accumulate or do you go for that one massive turn that really gets you loads of points or loads of things? After each cave, you put your money in a box and you hide it. So during the last one, you can't remember exactly how much money or how many gems everyone's got. So you're like, I think I'm ahead. So if I leave now, I'll be even more ahead. Someone will have to catch me up. Or I think I'm behind and I think that person's ahead. I've got to stay in longer than them to get more. It just adds loads of different really interesting things. I've had a lot of time. This is a game that I've introduced at so many family nights, friends nights. It's a game that I often use to start the night or to finish the night. It gets people going. It's a kind of like an always winning game. 2005, Bruno Feitude and Alan R. Moon, Diamant or Incan Gold. Seriously, I do recommend this one. This is a big recommendation from me as a board game. So that was 2 old, 2 new for October 25. I'll be doing November's in only a couple of weeks' time when we get to the end of November to see what I've played then. I hope you've enjoyed them. We've spoken about Onitama, Harmonies, Vikings and Diamant, and I recommend all 4 games into either your collections or find a way of playing them. You could, of course, play them at a local board game cafe. I happen to live near, and I'm very lucky to live near Chaos Cards, which is in the southeast of England, and it is a friendly local gaming store with tables and cafe to be able to play the games as well. And they have their own library of games upstairs with the tables, so you can hire out a game for a couple of hours and play it. Some of these games might be games that you go somewhere like that and play. Please do support, if you can, your local friendly gaming store, because they are wonderful things to have, and we need to support our industry as much as we can. If you've enjoyed the content today, you've enjoyed listening to me rambling about Onitama, Harmonies, Vikings and Diamant, please do subscribe, say hello, tell me in the comments, do you like any of these 4 games? Which of these 4 games have you played? Which of these 4 games haven't you played? Are there any that you're suddenly thinking, wow, that does sound like a game that's up my street? Or are there any games in there that you're like, you know what, I've played that one and it's rubbish. What are you talking about, Alex? How dare you say it's good when it's clearly a terrible game? Whatever you'd like to say, I would really enjoy hearing your comments and opening up discussions about board games. Please subscribe. Please use your friendly local gaming store. Please have a wonderful board gamey, glorious day. And I hope you have a lovely evening. I will see you soon. Thank you very much.